Two options for the tour. One, the half day trip, and one, that's the full day trip. And I just confirmed for you guys, this is the trip going to the half day only. Okay, so is that the tour you're going, right?
Yeah.
Not a full day. So I'm not picking up wrong people? Okay, lucky. Alright, so first of all, I would like to say thank you guys to my company, Kim Travel, to go into the tunnel. And I'm the guy for the trip today, and my name is Ting, that's the local name. Spell T-I-N-H. I think that's a bit hard for you to say my name, because in my language, that's it, we have tongue language. So we have 6 tongue different. Okay, so don't try to remember my name. Just remember my nickname. Okay, Tin. To make it easy. I think you guys know about Tin, right?
Yeah.
I'm a single Tin, not a double. Okay, so and we going together today, and time you return the city around 3. So more or less about half an hours, depend on the traffic. It's good for you?
Yes.
Okay, and from here to the tunnel takes around 2 hours. And we spend over 2 hours together to visit the tunnel. And I would let you know what you can see later, and also what you can do later over there. At 2 hours we visit the tunnel. We are the walking tour. Walk around the area to see the tunnel and to see the tunnel system and everything there. And tunnel is over 245 kilometers. But we're not only going to get in whole the area. With just small part area and the special one, because this is the biggest part of the tunnel for tourists. I mean, not about the area, the biggest side of the tunnel. Because the tunnel they were made for Vietnamese, and Vietnamese, you know, we are sharp and small people. That's why the tunnel really sharp and small. So when they open for tourists, we have to choose the bigger part of the tunnel for tourists, just in case you stop. Okay, so and the time they make the tunnel is from 1954 until 1975. They did the tunnel during the war. Okay, and the people make the tunnel for the reason they want to hide themselves. Okay, and the word called Vietnam War. Maybe some of you hear another name, that's the American War. I'm not sure which side you are. Okay, you call Vietnam War or the American War, this doesn't matter today. We also right here exactly who made the tunnel and also how they live there. And but I have to choose one side to share, because when I don't want to make you confused. Sometimes I call Vietnam War, sometimes I call the American War, make you confuse that. So today easy for you, I will call Vietnam War. And the one they call make the tunnel, the American CI call them Việt Cộng, on nickname VC. You hear about that before?
Yeah.
Okay. If you hear about that, so that's what they call the VC. And maybe this is the first time you hear about VC, so I will let you know exactly what it means. Việt Cộng. That's our language code. Việt in Vietnam, Cộng in Cộng sản. And in English, that's in the Vietnamese communist. The communist member, and a Việt Cộng, I nickname VC. Okay, and the VC they make the tunnel to hiding. And why they have to hiding? Because they were hiding themselves from the American. And the Vietnam War starting between the Vietnamese and Vietnamese. That's what they call Vietnam War. Between the communists and the capitalists. Between the Saigon army and front people liberation to the South Vietnam. So that's a VC. Saigon and VC. That's why they call it Vietnam War. Okay, and the American joined the Vietnam War is in 1954. And why the American came to Vietnam? So we have to flashback a bit before 1954. 1954, our country they have another war. At the time, we call the Indochine War, or we call the Indochina War, and the French colony Vietnam. Okay, and they start to invade Vietnam in 1858 until 1954. So over 90 years. So nearby 100 years. So French invade Vietnam, and from 1958 until 1945. So at the time they see French invade Vietnam, and at the time our country there's an emperor, and we have king, and the king that's in Nguyen dynasty. Okay, so and in 1945 we would change. When at the time in 1945 French lose Japanese in the Asia in the World War II. That's why French have to left Indochina. They left to Indochina to Japan. And in 2nd of September in 1945, the first president in Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh. He created the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, and he's a communist. Okay, and the country they created in 1945. But it's the same year in 1945, Japanese surrender in American in World War II. That's why this means they lose in the Second World War II. So Japanese had to left Vietnam, and that reason why French come back to Vietnam again. But when the French come back in Vietnam, they have the country already, and the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. But they not accept that, and they're not so sure they're not accept that Vietnam become an independent country. You have the government, but you see the colonized by French. At the time, the Vietnam still belonged to French. Okay, and in 1945 until 1954, the Việt Minh. At the time, the country called Việt Minh. Việt Minh, that's in the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. Việt Minh against French until 1954. In 1954, French lose in Việt Minh in the big battle, and we call Biên Phủ battle. And they have to make one agreement. And follow that agreement, French left Vietnam, and Vietnam became to the one the independent country. Okay, and we have the government and the country for Vietnamese and not belong to any country in 1954. And when the French left Vietnam, they have to make agreement, and Vietnam they have 1 year. After 1 year, so we make the electrician and to the government. But we cannot do that in 1954 because at the time Ho Chi Minh is a communist, and you know it's about communist. It's not about the American. You don't like any country become the communist. In at the time Asia, they have only one country that communist is China. Okay, and if Vietnam become to the communist country for legal, and they got a problem with the American in the Asia and in the South Asia and in Pacific Ocean. That's why they fight anyway to come to Vietnam and make sure Vietnam we cannot reunification, and Vietnam we cannot make the electrician. So in 1954, they sharing about the communist no God. So if you are a Christian, you are Catholic, you cannot live in the communist country because the communist no God. You're Vietnamese, you want to live in Vietnam, you want to keep your religion, move to the South Vietnam. And the South Vietnam where a God lives. That's why they use the religion to separate the country. And 2 million Vietnamese from the north, and they're Christian and Catholic, they move to the south. And when the more people move to the south, and this means that more people in the south, they welcome the capitalists and not welcome the communists. Over 60%. Over 60% and they are capitalists, and this means they use the human rights, and you can rate the government. And this is Saigon government created in 1954. And Saigon government, that is the one he break agreement. So that's mean when that's agreement, so Vietnam cannot make the election, and they separate the country in 1954 because Saigon government asked American help. Okay, so that's why the American came to Vietnam for legal in 1954. And in 1954, everything that Americans supply to the South Vietnam, not the people, not the army. 1954, they supply everything to the Saigon government, Saigon army. Okay, money, weapon, technology, everything. In 1954 until 1961, that's what they call Vietnam War, between only the BC and Saigon only. In 1961, exactly, the American came to Vietnam. That's why they call it the American War. Over 600,000 the American soldiers come to Vietnam in 1961. And they come into Vietnam, not come to Vietnam not by themselves. They come with the allies and with another 600. So you got South Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, New Zealand, and Australia. So different country, they have the different army base in Vietnam. Today we're going to visit the Cujo Tunnel, and that tunnel that's in nearby one American base. So this means I just talking about the American today, not whole country. Okay, just small area and one district that's also nearby American base. All right, and the one you see follow the agreement for the Saigon between the Saigon and American. The American come to Vietnam to help the Saigon government avoid the communists, and this is to help the Saigon avoid the communists. That means they can do everything in the South Vietnam, and they can do any way to looking for and find out the communists. And if you find out the communists, that means they can capture them and put in jails, because the South Vietnam non-communist, the South Vietnam anti-communist. But 40%, not only 1 or 2%. And 40% of people do not welcome the American. But this why they cannot live in the city. They have to move far away to the city. And far away to the city, it's a far the village and the forest. Okay, and even you see American, they don't want the communists stay around them, near around them. That's why they come to area, the village, to looking for the communists every day. And to ensure American, they cannot fight them. That's when the big Kong, they make the tunnel to hide it. Not far away from the city, only 60 kilometers. But they make the tunnel, and the American didn't know the tunnel. So they'll make the tunnel, I told you before, 245 kilometers, but they dig the tunnel like they're invisible. Digging the tunnel, no dust. Living around, no smell. Cooking, no smoke. Working, you get a supply food, weapon, and the people, but no footprint from under. That's what you do. Okay, so on how they do that, so we spend over 2 hours later to see. When you see, and I will show, that's easy for us. Okay, and a 2 hour visit the tunnel, we walking, I told you already. And the end of the trip, it's time for us to get in the tunnel. You look the tunnel and you decide you get in or not. You don't want to get in the tunnel, you can waiting outside. But when you get in the tunnel already, you have to do at least 20 meters. This means the distance around 20 meters. You can do over and more and more. How far you can go, that is up for you. But at least you have to do 20 meters when you decide to get in. The reason I told you that 20 meters is not the same side for the tunnel. The more you're going farther, the tunnel deeper and getting smaller. Okay? The more you go farther, the tunnel deeper and getting smaller. Because the tunnel not the same with only one layer. The tunnel, they have 3 layers underground. The first layer 3 meters deep, the second one 6 meters, and the final one 8 to 12. And lucky nowadays they just open the first layer and the second layer for tourists. The last one not for tourists anymore. I told you already, you can stop. Okay, and even with you the big part of the tunnel, but you cannot walk inside the tunnel. You want to get in the tunnel, you have to bend down you're going. This means you have to bend your knees and your back. Nowadays they're over 1.2 or 1.3 meter high. Okay, you cannot walk inside. And 1.3 until 1.2. 1.2 until 1.1. That's when deeper and smaller. You're starting when you bend down and finish when you go with knees and hands. So any 20 meters you have the access. Feel good, keep going. Don't go anymore. You don't want to go, just waiting outside. And when you get in the tunnel after 20 meters, you think that's enough. You're getting out. Any 20 meter, you have the access. Okay, so you do 20, 40, and how far you want that, you decide, not me. But I'm not recommend if you have problem first, your knee problem, your back problem, because you cannot walk inside. Okay, second, you have problem with your heart, asthma. I'm not recommend because the tunnel is small. Even they got that ventilation, but not too big. So under, that's why a bit hot, warm, humid. So you have the problem with your heart and the asthma, I'm not recommend. And if you feel good, let's just go. Okay, and lucky we choose the bigger part, and they will make sure that is safety for tourists. So the part, the tunnel you get in, that's it clean and clear. The reason I told you clean and clear, because you don't have any trap from under. and you don't meet any, you see the animal from under. Don't try to get in the original one because they have so many waiting from underground. The tunnel we try, they have the local guy under to check every day to ensure nothing inside. Sometimes you see some snake, sometimes you see some scorpion. So, but that's why they have the local guy going first, and local guy going first, and after that they move everything out and for you. Okay, somewhere good for tourists, I will let you try. Somewhere not good for tourists, so look and do some photo, a photo and keep going. Okay, and we going to visit the tunnel. This is one the army place, so we need the ticket. I haven't got the ticket yet, but when you book the tour, the sizing ticket, that's what including. And I need your name on the list I gave you before. So could be write down your name there, and when you finish, return to me, and I will take the ticket for you later. With the ticket, we going together. And hold the trip, we going together, so that's when we go back together. Don't follow another guy. Okay, follow me, we return the city later. Follow another guy, maybe tomorrow. Okay, and any question you can ask me. You need any assistance, let me know. Or when I will explain, you misunderstand, let me know. Make sure everything very clear. Okay, and I want to get something about for the army place later. We're going to visit. After a 2-hour visit, so we passed by one place in the tunnel, and they call this is the Nation Defense Shooting Range. Maybe when you get in there, you see very noise or something about some shooting, because they have the shooting range there, and they open for tourists. I think this is the only one place in Vietnam they open this area and for tourists. And this is the reason only one, because this is the real weapon and the real bullet. Okay, depend on the days and depend on the time, they will show you as so for tourists different type of weapon. Maybe they have 5, maybe 10 different. But probably they have AK-47, M1 carbine, K54 is mean pistol, or RPK. RPK, that's it, the machine gun. Okay, if you guys want to shoot, want to try, you can do. You can try later. Okay, in Vietnam, we cannot use any weapon, and the people cannot hold the weapon. Very strict about that. And today we go into the army place. That's why you can have a look and you can try if you want. But in the shooting, you have to pay extra for the cost. And you can pay by cash, or you can pay by card over there to make sure if you want to try, I will show you the place. Okay, and if you don't want to try, you can decide. But some people want to shoot, then let me know. Okay, and if you want to shoot, they're not selling 1 round or 2 rounds. Minimum 10 rounds. It means 10 bullets one time you shoot. Example, AK-47, they have a magazine of 30 rounds. Okay, pistol or M1 or carbine, about 10 rounds. Okay, or machine gun. Machine gun, they have a bell or the half bell, 50 or 100 rounds. Okay, so different kind of weapon, different kind of bullet. You can have a look what you want, you can order out there. Okay, you can pay by cash or card, it's up for you. And I don't want you to waste your time, so this means you think you're shooting, you go straight for one side. If the people don't want you shooting, another side. Okay, easy for us, because easy we get lost, missing the route in the shooting range. Some people shooting, some people not. Okay, so that's why I will show you the play, and they got a solo meeting point, because we spending now only 15 or 20 minutes alone, like the break time when you're going together. All right, and on the way back, we go straight to the hotel. It means where you pick you before, we drop you there or somewhere around. And now they also pass by the World Random Museum. Not sure you guys want to see World Random Museum. If you want, you go in there later, let me know, because we pass by and we can drop you there. But after dropping, when you finish, you can go back to the hotel by yourself. The bus not waiting in the World Random Museum. Okay, so and later when we're getting out of the city, I think around 45 minutes from here, so we can make for one rest stop for us, like a tea break. Okay, smoking, washroom, some drink, or even some to eat, but I think early. On the way back, we not stop in any restaurant. So I'm not sure you hungry or not at 2:30 or 3. So if you think you can grab some food, you can do later. Alright? And this area open for the government either. So they employ the people, we call the victim from the war. And they got a problem with the chemical weapon the American they will use during Vietnam War. I'm not talking about a chemical weapon. That chemical weapon today is because it's very horrible. But we going to visit, so that's why I'm just sharing about that. During Vietnam War, where the people hiding, that's in the village and the forest. And the American they see they cannot reach the forest every day, but they have to check the area. They have to sponsing. That's why they use the chemical to kill the forest. And they use the Agent Orange. Agent Orange did not kill the people. They make sure the forest gone. But you see the people next by and the people in the forest and nearby they got a big problem. Nowadays our population around 100 million people, but they have around 4.5 million people they get affected by the Agent Orange. So many people on ability, handicapped people are not physically. And they was asking for the waiting for one apology from the government.